Welcome into game night. I am your host, Alex Flum. So glad you could be with us today here as we're really getting into football season. Preseason more than halfway done. Thank goodness. Can't wait till the real stuff. High school football about to get into full swing in a second. And college football getting ready to start as well. But we are going to start with that Washington Commanders preseason game that y'all just saw yesterday. Can't keep track of my days anyway. Washington taking on Detroit, and what really stood out was the pass rush. The Commanders got back there for 5 sacks. Joshua Josephs recovered a fumble in the end zone, as you see here. Amik Robertson had a sack on that play early in the game. That was an early touchdown. Javonte Jean-Baptiste got back to the quarterback. Maurice Hurst had 2 sacks. TJ Magaranyanga, he also had a sack. And Dan Quinn says that this is a strength of this team right now. He's impressed with the improvements he saw from these pass rushers, even when we didn't see Odafe Owe and Caleb Chason out there from week 1 to week 2 of the preseason.
When you're trying to look at it to say, all right, who beat, somebody in pressure, or, was it singled up? Was it a pass stunt that got them there? But the execution of that improved pass rush wise. I thought in the week 1 in the second half, it felt slower to go, and so knowing Eric Henderson and their guys and Pags really dug in on that, I thought they took a step forward, and so I expect that to go again.
Out here in training camp, Coach Quinn has said some really good things about you during camp. How do you feel like you've shown what you can bring to this team?
Man, just my experience, been in the league 8 years and trusting my technique that the coach gives me, Training camp could be stressful, she's just one day at a time.
What have you learned from veterans like Duran, Javon, O'Menahue coming in here? What have they kind of taught you in this camp?
I mean, I like to, I'm a visual learner, so if I'm not doing something right, I'll look at how D-Payne do it, or, look at some old player that's familiar with the defense do it, and then to my abilities, try to do it,
I know how tough I'm sure it is for Johnny to be dealing with the injury he's dealing with, but obviously people are going to have to step up in this room. I saw you, getting even more work out there today. How are you kind of maybe taking on potentially an even larger role than you've had these last few weeks?
Just nose down, a head down, chin up mentality. So, like I said, I done played some football, so we just keep doing what I'm doing, man, trusting my technique and the coaches.
And then for this team as a whole, what do you think about just kind of the brotherhood that's been here, how this team has been getting along, and how they're kind of trying to put last year in the past and move on to a more successful year this year?
Yeah, I was barely here last year, so. But, I mean, anytime you win a couple games, it leaves a bad taste. And you just got to use it as motivation, been there, but don't dwell on it. Each year is a year of its own, so that's how we're looking at it.
All right, that was Shy Tuttle, Washington Commanders defensive tackle, talking earlier this week ahead of that preseason game. Again, part of that pass rush that has been so successful so far in this preseason for the Washington Commanders. Sticking with the Commanders, we're going to check in on a story around Jayden Daniels. Obviously, everybody heard about the cease and desist letter and the controversy about Jayden's number 5 at LSU has become the joke of memes and the talk of social media. And Jayden was asked about this after the game. Now, let me just put something out there for you guys that are watching our show. JP Finley, a reporter, covers the Washington Commanders, asked the question. And a lot of people out there criticizing him for asking it. But let me tell you guys this. JP was doing his job. It was the right thing to ask. This was the first time Jayden Daniels had spoke since something that was a national controversy happened. And Jayden did not seem bothered by the question. He gave a fair answer. Here's what JD5 had to say in his first public comment since his Instagram post that he made saying he was focused on football. Here's what he said about a week after that.
I posted that, the statement is out, but for me now it's really just focused on Commander football. I said everything I had to say within the statement, and now it's really just getting ready for week 1.
All right, so Jayden Daniels focused on week 1. We have another football story for you right now. A bit of a situation going on at the high school football level. I want you guys to take a look at this video right here.
I want one, Will. Hey, we about to leave. Get y'all stuff. Look, hey, Blue on 3, family on 6, TV 2 on 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. TV 2.
All right, that is Ballou High School as their Week 1 football game appears to be in question right now. You heard them break down after that talk from their head coach, Kenny Brown, and they said TB2 in reference to Officer Terry Bennett, who was killed earlier this year, hit by a car. He's a police officer in the area. He went to Ballou, became a police officer after going to college at Bucknell, came back to D.C. to be a D.C. police officer, and again was a coach with the Ballou football program. Now, there had been plans in place by the Ballou community to honor him at their Week 1 game. Ballou was supposed to originally, I've been told, play Kip D.C. Legacy. When that game was broken off, they were looking for a new opponent. Ron Brown, another school in the district, they had a game that was canceled as well. So the two decided that they were going to play each other. It was put into max preps. It was talked about at the Commanders Football Media Day by both coaches. Everyone has been looking forward to that matchup for months. And then they've just recently found out that that matchup is not being sanctioned by DC Public Schools, by the DCIAA. In response to that, a parent named Matthew Borey has begun reaching out to DCSSAA, or DCIAA, I should say, DC Public Schools, and raising money to try and make this game happen. Now, we had a chance to talk to Matthew. His son is the quarterback over at Ballou, and he's very frustrated because, one, he wants to honor Terry Bennett. He says that Terry Bennett is the one that recruited his son to the school, along with Coach Brown, and was really made the school home for his son, Max, the quarterback of the team. So I spoke to Matthew today. He said that they also, after DC said they couldn't play the game at Ballou Week 1, he said they raised $15,000 to try to play that game instead at the St. James in Springfield, Virginia, where Digital Pioneers and Anacostia are actually playing their first game of the season. So he's trying to make it so Ballou can also play their game there for Week 1 and be allowed to play there. So here's what Matthew had to say today when we spoke.
Terry went to Ballou High School. He was the salutatorian in his class there. He was a football player there who stood out on the field. He played at Bucknell University, which is one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the country. He came back to D.C. to be a D.C. police officer and then coached, obviously, at Ballou High School over the years. And so this game was going to be Terry Bennett night at the stadium. His family was going to attend. We were going to have another vigil there. And the atmosphere was going to be one of positivity and trying to uplift the community around football, but also his legacy, and to inspire youth to follow the kind of path that he set forth as a leader. We're going to turn this negative situation into a positive one, and we're going to uplift the community. We also had to inform the Bennett family that there isn't going to be a game, right? And they shouldn't have to hear that, A, and B, they shouldn't have to even request for something like this to happen. And so we're going to support the student athletes one way or another as a community. If DCIAA and DCPS don't want to approve this game to happen at Ballou or an alternate facility, we're not going to let the community engagement and the donations go to waste. We are going to use that to help student athletes progress in their academic and athletic pursuits. And we're also going to bring positive attention to the legacy of Coach and Officer Terry Bennett.
Now, Matthew says that regardless of if the game will be played, they will be donating at least $5,000 to the Terry Bennett Scholarship Fund, if not more. DCIAA, apparently, I'm being told, has told the school they didn't meet the deadline in time, but Matthew tells me that in an email, DCIAA has told him that they didn't even submit the request. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's happening. I've reached out to DCIAA trying to find out the details of this situation, what's happened, what the deal is with this deadline, if there is a deadline, if they would allow this alternate site game to happen. And the biggest question I asked them in the message I sent, and I'll read you what I wrote to the DCIAA. And I said, for student athletes that have been looking forward to the start of their football season, all offseason, to have football as a positive outlet in their community, and now may not be able to take the field for their season opening game for both teams, when there appears to be a solution to allow the game to be played, why is an exception not being able to be made in this instance? What would be the drawback from the DCIAA perspective? What would happen if DCIAA and DCPS allowed this game to take place? So that's my biggest question. I sent that message to the to the DC Public Schools media representatives, sent it late Friday night. Again, this is the weekend, so I assume we may hear back from them on Monday. Hopefully, we'll be following the story. But the question is, will Ballou be able to play their week 1 game? That's what everyone is hoping in that Ballou community will be able to happen. Again, they want to honor Terry Bennett, the fallen officer and coach from their community that means so much to them. And in addition to that, these are kids who have football as a positive outlet for them, something, that gives them an opportunity to be a part of a team there. And if they lose that game, they lose that game. Here's a picture here again, Kenny Brown, the head coach of Ballou, with Terry Bennett. They're very close friends. And then again, I know earlier in the year, it's a big loss for that Ballou community, so our thoughts continue to be with them and hope that whether it's with the game or in some way or another, they are able to honor Officer Coach Terry Bennett in a way that is meaningful for them. Again, we will keep track of this story. We'll let you know here on DC News Now any updates we have. But the question is right now at this moment, will Ballou and Ron Brown be able to play their season opening game? That game scheduled, it was scheduled by the schools for Friday, August 28th. Originally supposed to be at Ballou, possibly at the St. James. But the question is, are DC Public Schools going to allow it to happen? That's something we're going to be following. Apparently, council members, a council member, at least one from the area, is involved, according to Matthew. So we'll be following that story. Again, sports means so much to these communities around this area. It brings people together. It helps people deal with a loss. So I can imagine that if that game were to take place somehow, if an exception could be made, I think it would mean a lot to the Bennett family, to the Ballou community, and to the student athletes who also are trying to get recognized at the college level. You need to have a certain amount of film to send to college programs, and those students are hoping that will get through to there. So we'll keep track of the story, any updates we have for you. Again, this is recorded. This show is being recorded around 7:15 p.m. right now, Sunday night, August 23rd. We have not heard back from DC Public Schools yet, but like I said, here on DC News Now, stick with us. We'll let you know if we do. All right, well, we have some high school football programs to preview, and we're going to take a quick break. One team from DC, one from Maryland. That's coming up next. Welcome back into Game Night. We're continuing our countdown to kickoff now with the Bishop McNamara Mustangs. Greg Calhoun enters his 5th season at the helm over there. The Mustangs took Maury, a state champion in Virginia, to triple overtime last year. They beat Gonzaga 21-0, and they went toe-to-toe with DeMatha, a great season that they're hoping to build on this year.
You guys really elevated this program even more last year. You played a tough Maury team. What was it, triple overtime you guys went with them? I know fell in that one. And then beating Gonzaga 21-0. I know that was probably one of the biggest wins for McNamara in a long time. So for both you guys, what was that like last season, just to take that big step forward with the program?
I think the biggest thing is, you know, the moral victories are great, right? And it's like we've had several of those in the past. We've had some this past year. You know, even like you said, you know, obviously losing to a, you know, #1 team in the state of Virginia is, you know, huge. But obviously you want the W, right? And obviously, you know, going into the rest of the season, going into conference play, it's always a slugfest each week when you get in conference play for us. And at the end of the day, you know, to come out on the other side of it is always a great thing. And at the end of the day, we dropped some others that we felt like we should have had. And I think the biggest thing is the guys being able to taste that victory and what it looks like and seeing that it can be done. It's one thing to talk about it, one thing to say, oh, we almost did, but to actually do it, I think that's the biggest thing that I appreciate and value the most. And it was a great feeling because, like I said, for the program, obviously got a lot of alumni that really care about the program and they really back it. And the biggest thing in that process is, you know, giving them something to celebrate as well. So.
And Xavier, for you, looking back to that last season, I mean, what was it like, that Gonzaga game? If you kind of take me back to the emotions for you after it.
Leading up to the game, we made sure that every day at practice, we competed every single day. We made sure we put in hard work, that we stayed focused on every little detail, and we made sure that we would not just try to go in there and think that we can be untouchable or something or things like that. We made sure that we tried hard, and we made sure that we were disciplined. We made sure that we listened to our coaches and we were coachable that whole week, so we can come out and get that W. And when we going in the game, we knew that everyone thought it was just McNamara, and we can come in there and walk all over them. But we made sure at the first quarter, first play of the game, no matter what, we came in and we fought, and we made sure that they knew who we are.
And speaking of that, the way last season went, like, how much confidence does that give you for this upcoming season? Like, and you're a senior leader now, so what are you kind of saying to the younger guys on this team in terms of, like, what you guys want to accomplish this year?
We want to go all the way. We want to go to the championship this year, and I feel like we know that we can do it, and we have proved that we are capable of doing it.
And what do you think will be the biggest key to get that done?
Just staying disciplined and not taking our foot off the gas.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, I'll bring you back over. Obviously, looking toward next season, toward this coming season, where it's coming up fast. Mm-hmm. What's your biggest message to these guys right now?
Just staying true to who we are. You know, don't get ahead in the process, and just focus on each day. And I think like going back to Xavier said, we want to go all the way. We want to go to the championship. That's kind of the motto. Is no such thing as, hey, we're just trying to be in the playoffs. Obviously, it hasn't happened in a while at MAC, but that's the motto every year. We're going to the championship, and that's the plan. And obviously, obviously beat Gonzaga, and then obviously lose to them after by 5 points, and essentially see those two teams compete in the championship to the wire. It's almost like, hey, we should have been there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the message going into the year. Like, hey, we're going to build upon that, and we're going to keep pushing everything forward. And just understand that this is going to get something that people got to get used to. That, hey, we're here now.
Welcome back into game night. Tonight we are remembering Sonny Jurgensen on what would have been his 92nd birthday. Sonny passed away earlier this year. Obviously, a loved player in the history, played a lot of seasons with Washington, holds the record for passing touchdowns in a season with 31 in 1967. That still holds today. Younger fans know him as a broadcaster. Older fans knew him as a legend. Even older fans remember watching him. So a legend, and I know Washington fans everywhere missing Sonny Jurgensen. Definitely a big part of the history of the Burgundy and Gold, and the Washington Commanders remembering him today. Would have been 92 years old today. Today would have been his 92nd birthday. So again, rest in peace, Sonny Jurgensen. Anyway, that's going to cover it tonight for Game Night. I'm Alex Flum. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll, of course, keep tabs on that Blue football story, find out when their game is happening, what's the deal with that, if it's happening. But that's going to do it for us here. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.